Why do I love this so much? Satisfactory is a factory game, one spun out of a small trend that occurred within indie development circles and Minecraft modding communities. I think. Don't quote me on this. The goal is to access milestones by effectively using raw material that can be found in your surroundings and consistently ramp up production. The milestones containing new technologies that usually allow you to design your factory more efficiently. You probably see where this is going. You start off mining iron sources by hand and expand by automating that process. You then notice that you have to melt the raw material in order to receive ingots, so you build a smelter. After having handcrafted several iron plates, you decide it's time to automate that, so you build a constructor that turns the ingots into plates. The machines draw too much power. You have to build another biofuel generator, which requires biofuel from trees and plants, as well as its own specific resources to be made. You attempt to automate the construction of those. Congratulations, you're now stuck in the never-ending process of growth. It's lovely. The reason why I specifically got into Satisfactory is because it offers a very unique perspective to these factory builders. Being able to perceive your production from the first-person perspective and the ability to build machinery vertically instead of just on a flat plane like in Factorio adds a lot to the immersion and promotes creativity. It doesn't hurt either that Satisfactory looks graphically very appealing while offering a beautifully handcrafted world with a lot of biomes and points of interest. A world that is filled with dangerous creatures that will protect their territory if you dare to get too close. Yet, it's an explorer's duty to find valuable resources, so what if a few natives have to die for the cause? If you don't like playing by yourself, there's also a co-op feature that allows friends to drop in at any time. To top it all off, you're able to get about 40 hours if not more of game time from a single playthrough. For a game that costs only about $30, that's a good bang for your buck. However, it's an early access game, and as early access games go, Satisfactory still feels like it's far from finished. While multiplayer works for the most part, it suffers from very strong desynchronization problems that made friends often die to enemies that don't even exist on their screen and force them to reconnect to the servers to resync. There is no final goal in the game. You feed this majestic space elevator with required resources to unlock milestones, but at some point you'll reach the early access limit where you're left with a text telling you to come back later. I'm very confident those two issues will be fixed as updates release, as so far the developers haven't disappointed. One personal gripe that likely won't be changed, however, is the static world. As mentioned before, the map is handcrafted. This brings in a lot of pros and cons. The pros I mentioned before, but the cons are what worry me a bit. Ores, monsters, and every other kind of point of interest is always at the same spot. This realization made every consecutive playthrough less of a surprise. I knew exactly where I had to go to get what I needed, and I knew what I had to expect on the path ahead of me. Another problem that comes with the static world is that it doesn't really keep you on your toes. What comes to mind is Factorio. Although Factorio's world is far from interesting, it comes with a neat little mechanic that plays a major role in the game. The aliens. As you construct your factories, the pollution that comes from the machinery provokes the locals to attack your base. This means that you're forced to keep an eye out on the amount of destruction you cause to the environment unless you would like to deal with a large amount of alien waves. The result is a game that always keeps you on your toes. It's not just about constructing a factory, it's about protecting and sustaining it. If we switch back to Satisfactory, there is none of that. Nature doesn't care about your 50 coal power plants covering the sun with smoke. You're able to freely turn the entire map into asphalt, and nothing but time would stop you. To get to the point, I would love to manage more than just power consumption in Satisfactory. It doesn't have to be aliens. I was thinking of something like the weather becoming problematic or resources degrading from environmental destruction. Force me to adapt to various unexpected scenarios and situations. Give me a chance to create a unique story. Again, I'm certain that the devs are aware of this and are likely looking into finding a good solution. Let's stay hopeful. In conclusion, Satisfactory is a fantastic automation game with quite a path of development and growth to go. I can recommend it to everyone who's into this genre. As for the people who aren't as passionate about it, perhaps you might want to wait for it to be more complete.